Good morning, my dear 10th standard students. Today we'll continue with the topic of chemical bonding. So, in first lecture, we have seen that there are different type of attractions exist between the atoms, ions, and molecules. So, these attractions which keep the atoms and the other substances together hold them strongly with each other, that is called chemical bond or chemical bonding. So simple bond means attractions. Here in this lesson we have to discuss about three different type of attractions. One is a ionic bond, there is a covalent bond, and third one is a coordinate covalent bond. Now in ionic bond, from the words ionic, you can follow the easily that it is formed between the cations and anions. Now you know that who is forming cations. So the metals which have lesser valence electron, larger atomic size, lesser ionization potential, and lesser electron affinity values. Because of due to this all, metals have a tendency to lose electrons and forms cations easily. Then non-metals who have valence electron 5, 6, 7, small size, high ionization potential, high electronegativity and high electron affinity force the non-metal to gain electrons, and as they gain electrons then they gets the negative charge. So atoms, metal atoms have a positive charge and non-metal have a negative charge, and then they combines to form a compounds which called as a ionic compounds. Now in chemistry or everywhere, whenever we are making anything, the basic of all is that whatever we are making, it should be a stable, long lasting, because these chemicals which we are preparing, we have to use them whenever it requires. So after maybe a long time, suppose we built a house, so if it is collapsed in one day, then it is a meaningless. Like that, when you make any compounds, that it should be long lasting, stable, then we can use them whenever it requires them. So in terms of stability, we have a concept of 8 electrons in the valence shell. Sometime maybe 2 electrons, then it is considered as a stable then. So they, by losing gaining electrons, get 8 electrons in the valence shell, and they get 8 electron means they becomes stable like inert gases. They will not become inert gases, keep in mind, they will become stable like inert gases. So in terms of their atomic numbers, so nearby inert gases whatever is there, they get stability like that. Then they combines and they forms the ionic bond. Now in ionic bond, there should be more difference in the value of electronegativity. So that is why in first lesson I told you that electronegativity is very useful for us. So there is a more electronegativity difference between the two atoms, then there is a more ionic character. I'll give you one example. Suppose we have a lithium fluoride, LiF. So Li has a electronegativity 1 and F has a electronegativity 4. So the difference of electronegativity is 4 minus 1 is 3. Now you take an example of NaCl. So in NaCl, the Na has a electronegativity 0.9 and Cl has a 3. So there is a difference of 2.1. So in LiF, the difference of electronegativity was 3 and in NaCl it is 2.1. So that suggests that the LiF is having more ionic character than NaCl. Is it clear? LiF is more having more ionic character than NaCl. So simply you remember that more difference of electronegativity, then the ionic compounds will be more stable then. So in these notes I had mentioned that CSF, cesium fluoride, as cesium is in the bottom of the first group and F is on the extreme right of the second periods. So cesium has the lowest electronegativity, fluorine has the highest electronegativity. So the difference will be more. So CSF, cesium fluoride, is having greater ionic character. Now when you look at the HCl, so H is also positively charged, Cl is also positive charged. So at first sight it looks that HCl is a ionic compound, but keep in mind that ionic compounds is made up of metals and non-metals. So in HCl, H and Cl both are non-metals. So non-metals will not form an ionic compound. Now check the difference of the electronegativity of HCl. H is 2.1, Cl is 3. So difference is only 0.9. So when there is a difference of 1.5 or more, then there is a more chances of more ionic character. And if it is less than 1.5 difference, then mostly the compound will be covalent compound. So today we'll start with the covalent compound. So try to understand the word covalent. Co means by cooperations, with the help of each other. Then valent means valence electrons. So that is why also in first lesson I told you that you remember the group number and valence electron. Now in these notes, which element is having how many valence electron, that everything is mentioned then. So if you remember the valence electron, then and then you can prepare the covalent bond formation easily. And keep in mind that majority of compounds are covalent compounds. So that is why also in higher standard when you go, then also you will observe that more and more covalent compound. So that is why also covalent bond is more important for us then. So when two or more same or different types of atoms share their valence electron and combine by that, then the bond formed in this way is called covalent bond. And the outermost electron which are taking part in the sharing will be called as a valence electron. And the particular atom is forming whatever number of covalent bond or whatever electron he can shed, that is called his covalency. Suppose hydrogen, so hydrogen has only one valence electron. So if he wants to wish to share more electrons, then also he cannot share more electrons then. So covalency of hydrogen will be 1. Suppose oxygen has a 6 electron, but in this 6 electron, 4 electrons are in the form of 2 pair and 2 electrons are unpaired. So in the valence electron, if there are many electrons, but then also those which are unpaired electrons, only they can take part in the sharing of electrons. So suppose you are going somewhere and your friend meet on the way. So when your friend is asking that immediately give me 1 lakh rupees. So if you don't have a more than 100 rupees, then how can you share 1 lakh rupees? So this example I am giving you because in terms of the capacity of atom, he can share the valence electron or he can form a covalent bond then. Now covalent bond is indicated by dash. So it is placed between the two atoms. So this one dash is there, it means that one bond is there. 2, then 2 bond, 3 bonds, like that. Now this bond will be how many? It depends on number of electrons they are sharing. Suppose H2 is formed, so H has a one unpaired electron, other H has also one electron. So when they combine, they share their electrons. So both will share one electron. So there is a one pair formed between the two atoms by sharing. So in H2, between the hydrogen and hydrogen, there is a single bond. Suppose you take an example of O2. So O plus O makes O2. Now O has a valence electron 6, but unpaired electrons are 2. So only that unpaired electron he can share with the unpaired electrons of other oxygen. Now out of 6, the two pairs that we have, 4 electrons. So these 4 electrons are also very important for us. Now they are called lone pair or unshared pair or a non-bonded pair. So try to find out the meaning from that. Unshared means as already they are paired, unable to take part in the sharing. Non-bonded, so cannot form a covalent bond, so it is non-bonded or lone pair. You have seen a movie, very interesting and very adventurous movie, Home Alone. So in that you have seen that a boy was alone at home and he is facing how the strangers. So that alone, when you remove A from the alone, it becomes a loan. So it is not a loan of a bank, LOAN. It is LONE. So LONE means not alone, means two. So those electron pair that we have, we call as a lone pair. So these lone pair electrons cannot take part in the covalent bond formation. So FClBrI halogens have 7 electrons, but out of these 7 electrons, only one electron is unpaired. So 3 pairs are there, so that is why the sharing will be of only 1. But ClBrI, they can make the unpaired electrons unpaired and they can form a more bond also, which is mentioned in the note. So that also you keep in mind. So suppose you take a means when O2 is formed, so both the oxygen will share two unpaired electrons and there will be 2 bonds formed between the O2 molecules. You take an example of N2. So nitrogen has a 5 valence electron as his belongs to 5th group, 5A group. So he has a 5 valence electron. So out of 5, 1 electron is paired and 3 electrons are unpaired. So when nitrogen has to share his electrons with other atoms, so he can share 3 electrons. So one nitrogen and other nitrogens both have a 5 electrons, but one lone pair is there. So both will share 1 electrons, 3 electrons with each other. So there is a 3 sharing pair form between the 2 nitrogens. So in nitrogen, the bond is triple bond. Normally when the bond is more, the bond length means the distance between the 2 atoms will be less, shorter. And if the number of bond is more, then the molecule will be more stable. So in H2O2, N2 will be the more stable molecules then. When you have a group element, so group element have a same number of valence electrons. So all the group elements will form a same number of covalent bond. Suppose carbon group. So carbon has a valence electron 4. So carbon, silicon, germanium all will form 4 covalent bond. Now beryllium, magnesium, calcium belongs to second group. So they can share only 2 electrons. Boron, aluminium, gallium have a 3 valence electron. So all 3 will share 3 electrons. So many examples of the covalent bond formation is given in your notes. So complete it and you will follow very easily. And then after we have a coordinate covalent bond. So in ionic bond, bond is formed between exchange of electrons. In a covalent bond, the bond is formed by sharing of electrons. Now to form a covalent bond, the two electron is required. So coordinate bond is a special type of covalent bond. I'll give you a simple example. Let's suppose somebody wants to start a business of 10 lakhs rupees, but he is not having money. So suppose he go for the bank loan. So bank will give 10 lakhs rupees. He will receive that and he will start a business. It is just like a ionic bond. Now two friends then knows each other very well. They both want to do the same business, but they have a 5 lakhs rupees. So they need 10. So individually it is not possible for them. So both will share their 5 electrons and they becomes a partner and they combines and they starts a business which is just like a covalent bond. Now another situation in which the one person has a sufficient money. So 10 lakhs is required, that 10 lakhs rupees he is having. He want to do the business, but he is not having a knowledge or a time or like that. Another person have a knowledge, time, everything, but he is not having money. So in this case, both can combine. See that the one who has a 10 lakhs rupees, he will not lose electron. He will share his money with the other person, and in this way they combine and they join and they start a business in cooperation. So this kind of bond will be called as a coordinate covalent bond. So in coordinate covalent bond, the most important thing is the lone pair. So the atoms who has a lone pair, only they can form a coordinate covalent bond. So for coordinate covalent bond, we have to first write the covalent bond. So keep in mind that 15, 16, 17 group elements and 18 group elements, always they have a lone pair. Nitrogen group has a one lone pair, 15 group. Oxygen group all have a two lone pair. Halogens have 3 lone pairs, and inert gases except helium have 4 lone pairs. So those who have a lone pair, only they can form a coordinate covalent bond. So suppose you take a, now what are the requirements then? So on one side there is a need of lone pair, and on other side there must be a tendency of receiving that lone pair. So suppose you take an example of NH3 and H plus. So in NH3 there is a one lone pair and H plus is a positively charged, so it means that he has a tendency to gain electrons, and H plus has no electrons, so that N of NH3 will share his 2 electron pair directly with H plus, and then they combines and forms a NH4 plus. So NH4 plus is an example of coordinate covalent bond. Now for coordinate covalent bond, the symbol is arrow. So the arrow will starts from the donor atom to the receiver atom. So in NH3 and H plus, N is donating electron pair. So that arrow will starts from nitrogen towards the hydrogen. So that arrow is a symbol of coordinate covalent bond. Another example of H2O and H plus giving H3O plus. So in H2O, O has a 2 lone pair. So he can share his lone pairs with the H plus, and they combines and form a H3O plus. So H3O plus is also an example of a coordinate covalent bond. So in short, exchange of electron is a ionic bond. Sharing of electron is a covalent bond. Sharing is equally 1-1, and on the requirement of the sharing will be completed by one atom. Other atom will simply receive that electron pair and combines and forms bond. It is called coordinate covalent bond. So these are the 3 bonds of 3 different type of bonding that we have to learn in these lessons. Thank you very much, and hope all of you understand all the topics. Keep in mind, this bonding is very useful for us, and in a very detailed way the notes is given. Try to complete the notes, try to understand it. And if any problem, you can ask me, you can call me, you can ask your question on WhatsApp. So many students are asking the questions and they are getting immediate replies. So try to take advantage of us and try to involve more and more. So more involvement from your side, I will be the most happy. Thank you very much and hope you have enjoyed and you follow the topic.